I should have known something was wrong when they asked me to sign the NDA before I even entered the house. Not after, before. The Silicon Valley couple sitting across from me in that sterile, minimalist living room didn't look dangerous. They looked like every other tech power couple you'd see on a Forbes cover. Polished, successful, perfectly calibrated. But there was something in the way she smiled at me. Something in the way he wouldn't stop staring. They made me an offer I couldn't refuse. $50,000 for one weekend. I thought it was about sex. I thought it was about fantasy. I was so wrong. What they really wanted, what they were really doing, it didn't become clear until it was too late to leave, and by then I'd already become part of something I still don't fully understand. My name doesn't matter, but what matters is that I'd been in this industry for 4 years by the time I met them, 4 years of learning to read people, of knowing when a client is harmless, when they're difficult, and when they're dangerous. I'd worked with tech people before, awkward engineers with too much money and not enough social skills, founders who treated everything like a transaction, VCs who thought wealth made them irresistible. But I'd never worked with anyone quite like Rachel and David. I found them, or they found me, through a high-end referral service. Verified backgrounds, encrypted communications, the kind of clients who valued discretion above everything else. The initial message was simple: couple seeking companion for weekend retreat. $50,000, privacy essential. $50,000, that's more than most people make in 6 months, for one weekend. I should have asked more questions, but the money? God, the money was everything I needed. Student loans, my mother's medical bills, the ability to finally take a break from this work. So I said yes. And I signed the NDA they sent over, 20 pages of legal language that basically said I could never, ever talk about what happened. The irony isn't lost on me. They picked me up themselves. No driver, no intermediary. Rachel drove, a Tesla, of course, while David sat in the passenger seat, occasionally glancing back at me with that unreadable expression. "Thank you for coming," Rachel said. Her voice was warm, friendly even. "We know this is unconventional." "I've done unconventional before," I said, trying to sound professional, confident. "Not like this," David said quietly. Something about the way he said it made my stomach tighten. We drove for over an hour, winding up into the hills above Palo Alto. The houses got bigger, farther apart, until finally we turned onto a private road that didn't appear on any GPS. Their house, calling it a house feels wrong, was more like a piece of architecture, all glass and steel and impossible angles. The kind of place that screams, "I have more money than I know what to do with." "Welcome," Rachel said as we pulled into the garage. "Make yourself at home." But as the garage door closed behind us, sealing us in, I felt anything but at home. Inside, the house was exactly what you'd expect from a tech couple, minimalist furniture, smart home everything, not a single personal photo anywhere, no warmth, no life. "Would you like a drink?" David asked, already pouring 3 glasses of wine I accepted, even though I don't usually drink with clients. But something about the silence in that house made me need it. "So," I said, sitting down across from them, "tell me what you're looking for this weekend." They exchanged a glance, one of those married couple glances that communicates an entire conversation. "We want to try something new," Rachel said carefully. "Something we've been researching for a while." "Researching?" I asked. "We're very thorough people," David added. "We don't do anything without extensive preparation." He pulled out a tablet and slid it across the table to me. On the screen was a document, pages and pages of scenarios, schedules, detailed descriptions of activities, times, expectations. It was like a business proposal. For sex. "We've outlined everything we'd like to explore this weekend," Rachel explained. "Nothing will happen that isn't on that document. You have complete autonomy to say no to anything." I scrolled through it. Some of it was standard, dinner, conversation, intimacy, but some of it was strange. "What's this?" I asked, pointing to a section labeled Observation Period. "That's when we watch you," David said flatly. "Watch me do what?" "Just exist," Rachel said. "Go about your day. We have cameras throughout the house. We'd like to observe you when you think you're alone." Every instinct I'd developed over 4 years started screaming, "That's not something I agreed to," I said carefully. "The fee includes it," David said. "It's non-negotiable." "Then I'm leaving," I said, standing up. Rachel's face fell. "Please, wait." She looked at David, and something passed between them, something that looked almost like desperation. "We'll pay you another 10,000, she said quickly. 60 total. Just, please stay." $60,000. I sat back down. "Why?" I asked. "Why do you want to watch me?" "Because," Rachel said softly, "we need to remember what it's like to be human." And that's when I realized these people weren't dangerous, they were broken, and I'd just agreed to be part of whatever experiment they thought would fix them. That first night, everything seemed normal. We had dinner. They asked me about my life, carefully, respectfully. I asked about theirs. They'd met at Stanford. Both computer science built a startup together that got acquired for hundreds of millions. Now they worked on separate projects, barely saw each other, lived in this massive empty house like two strangers. "We used to be different," Rachel said, pouring more wine. "We used to laugh, touch each other randomly, stay up all night talking. Now we have meetings," David added, "scheduled intimacy, optimized everything." "We've become our own product," Rachel said, "and we don't know how to stop." After dinner, Rachel took my hand. "Come with me," she said. She led me upstairs to their bedroom, floor-to-ceiling windows overlooking the valley, a bed that looked like it had never been slept in. David followed, but he didn't participate. He sat in a chair in the corner and watched, just watched. Rachel and I, it was gentle, tender, even. She touched me like she was trying to remember what human contact felt like, and when it was over, she cried. Not sad crying. Something else, relief maybe. "Thank you," she whispered. David stood up and left the room without a word. "He does that," Rachel said, wiping her eyes. "He can't handle feelings." "Then why am I here?" I asked. "Because we're trying," she said. "We're trying to feel something again." I should have left then, should have taken whatever money they'd paid up front and walked out. But I didn't. Because part of me wanted to help them. Part of me saw myself in their emptiness. That was my first mistake. The next morning, I woke up alone. I explored the house, trying to shake the feeling that I was being watched because I could see the cameras. Small black dots in every corner. I found Rachel in her office, staring at multiple screens filled with code I didn't understand. "Morning," she said without looking up. "There's breakfast in the kitchen." I ate alone, eggs and coffee in a kitchen that looked like it had never been used. That's when I found David in the living room, watching something on a large screen. It was me. Footage from last night, from the bedroom. "What the fuck?" I said. He paused it. "It's in the contract. Section 12. Recording for personal use." "I didn't agree to be recorded," I said, my voice shaking. "You signed the NDA," he said calmly. "You agreed to everything." I felt sick. "I want to leave," I said. "You'll lose the money," he replied, "and you'll be in breach of contract. We can sue for damages. Substantial damages." I was trapped. "Why are you doing this?" I asked. He finally looked at me, really looked at me. "Because we don't feel anything anymore," he said. "We've tried everything. Therapy, drugs, retreats. Nothing works. We can't feel anything unless we're observing it, analyzing it, turning it into data. I'm not data, I said. Everything is data, he replied. That night was different. Darker Rachel was distant, mechanical. David didn't just watch. He took notes, on a tablet, like I was an experiment. Touch her neck, he said to Rachel. Kiss her slower. Stop. Start again. I felt like I was in a lab, a specimen being studied. And the worst part? Rachel went along with it. She did exactly what he said, like she'd given up her own agency entirely. After, when they finally left me alone, I tried the doors. Locked all of them. I tried my phone. No signal. They'd installed jammers. I was locked in a multi-million-dollar prison with two people who'd forgotten how to be human, and I had no way out. On the third morning, I found something I wasn't supposed to find. A room they'd forgotten to lock. An office, but not Rachel's. This one was different. The walls were covered in photos, not of them, of other women, dozens of women, all around my age, all like me, and beneath each photo, notes, dates, observations, ratings. I wasn't the first. I wasn't even the 10th. They'd been doing this for years, bringing women here, watching them, recording them, studying them like lab rats. And then, what? What happened to the others? I heard footsteps behind me. Rachel stood in the doorway. You weren't supposed to see this, she said quietly. Who are they? I demanded. People like you, she said. People we thought could help us feel again. Did it work? I asked. She shook her head. It never works. We get close, moments where we think we feel something, but then it fades, so we try again, and again. This is sick, I said. I know, she whispered, but I don't know how to stop. She looked at me with genuine despair. Help me, she said. Please, help me feel something real before I disappear completely. And in that moment, I didn't see a monster. I saw a woman who'd optimized herself into oblivion, who'd turned herself into an algorithm and forgotten how to be human. I saw someone even more trapped than I was. I stayed the rest of the weekend. Not because I had to, but because I chose to. I spent that time talking to Rachel, really talking. Not about tech or data or optimization, about life, about fear, about the person she used to be. David couldn't handle it. He disappeared into his office and didn't come out. On Sunday evening, Rachel drove me back herself. Thank you, she said as we pulled up to my apartment. Not for the sex, for reminding me that I used to be someone. What are you going to do? I asked. I don't know, she said, but I can't keep doing this. She handed me an envelope. Inside was a check for $80,000. The extra is for everything, she said. I never saw her again, but 6 months later, I saw a news article. Rachel had left her company, left David, moved to a small town in Oregon where she teaches kids to code. No cameras, no optimization, no data, just life. The money changed my life, paid off my debts, let me leave the industry on my own terms. But what that weekend taught me was something no amount of money could buy, that you can have everything, wealth, success, intelligence, and still lose yourself. That the most dangerous prison isn't made of walls. It's made of choices you make so gradually, you don't notice you're trapped until it's too late. The Silicon Valley couple made me an offer I couldn't refuse, and in accepting it, I helped save someone who'd forgotten how to be saved. Sometimes the darkest places we visit are the ones that lead other people back to the light.